Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And today we're going to take a look at the 1933 United States quarter dollar coin, or the non-existent 1933 United States quarter dollar coin, because they just didn't make them. Some of you say, well, I've seen a 1932 quarter out there. Those are novelty quarters that somebody scraped the date off and put 1933 on. As long as they sell them as novelty quarters and make sure that everybody knows that they aren't U.S. currency and never were, it's not illegal to do that. So kind of an aftermarket kind of thing. The quarter dollars first came out with Washington on them in 1932. And as most of you know, they replaced the Standing Liberty quarter. And this is a Standing Liberty quarter. It says Liberty at the top. Liberty is standing here with a shield. It says 1926 on this one, and this is the engraver's initials. It's not a mint mark. And then we turn it over to the back. It says United States of America, E pluribus unum, and then down here it says quarter dollar. Well, in 1932, in the midst of the Great Depression in the United States and really across the world, they decided to celebrate George Washington's 100th birthday by coming out with some quarter dollar coins with George Washington on them. It's unclear if they meant to do it forever or they were just going to do it and then go back to the Standing Liberty. And this is Liberty at the top, In God We Trust here. This is the 1932 JF there. And that, of course, is for John Flanagan, the engraver. Can you see the JF there? It's kind of faint here. This is actually a really good quality coin. One of the ways you can tell is look at the edges on it. And remember, of course, that in 1932, these were 90% silver coins. We get to the back and you see it's just great printing on here. It says United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum here. You can actually see the body feathers on here. Not so much on the leg, but that's still pretty darn good. And you can see the ribbon going across, the arrows which the eagle is holding. And down here at the bottom it says quarter dollar. If there is a mint mark in 1932, it's right here, right above the E and the R, in this space underneath the olive branch. So let's see if we can find one with a mint mark on it. Here's another 32. This one's in pretty good shape too. A little bit, you know, it's not quite as shiny, kind of. And some good body feathers on this one too. And there, right down there, is the S mint mark. And this is not, this kind of came out at the mint this way. I've seen a number of these in really good shape with a kind of mushy mint mark like this. In 1932, they made 5.4 million at Philly. They made 408,000 at San Francisco. And they also made them at one other mint, and that, of course, is the Denver Mint. And you notice this one's a lot more worn than the other ones. At the Denver Mint in 1932, they made 436,000. In the shape that this is in right here, this is probably worth $50 to $60. In the shape that this one's in, this one may be worth, again, between $60 and $100 with this S on it. And then this one here, the Philadelphia, it's just that they made so many more, but this is probably worth $25 to $50 here. You'd have to get up to MS 60 before you get much over $25 in the Philadelphia version, but you can get a very fine in the San Francisco that's worth 60, and you can get a very fine in the Denver, which is worth 100. So they're really collectible coins. But for 1932, the 5.4 million in the middle of the Depression, when the year before, in 1931, they didn't mint any Standing Liberties. So they had so little money that was being used. A lot of the banks had closed down, so they didn't even have a distribution system until the banks kind of got back on track, which they didn't do until the mid to late 30s did they get, you know, a lot of the banks come back, you know, in terms of small town banking and stuff. So in this, with this coin here, they didn't make it in 31, and then because they made a bunch in 32 and they weren't used much, they didn't make them at all in 33. Now, some of you coin collectors also know that 33 is the first year that the United States went away from gold. Franklin Roosevelt, who was the president, essentially said it was illegal to have gold, and they didn't make gold out of money anymore. Well, it wasn't illegal, but they put a cap on what the value of gold could be. It's kind of a weird thing, and it's not sure how, I'm not sure how effective it was, and it wasn't until I believe the 70s that they opened gold back up again for to let the price of it float. So in 33, nothing. In 34, they came back and they did Denver Mint coins, and this one's pretty beat. And you go, why is it so beat? Well, one of the reasons it's beat is because they only made about 3.5 million at Denver, and they got used a lot more. Now, there's a lot of special Denver Mint coins from 1934, but this one's so worn it's you really couldn't tell whether it was a double die obverse. Well, it probably isn't, but it'd be hard to tell. Or a medium motto or a heavy motto, which are or a light motto, which are some of the things that go on this coin. So that's a Denver, and then of course this one here is the Philly. And why do I say of course this one's here is the Philly? Because in 34, when they came back, they didn't make any San Francisco Mint coins for quarters. So the San Francisco Mint mark, which you see right here, was not on the quarters in 1934. All right, well, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. Leave any comments you have in the comments section.